Welcome to Season 2, Episode 11 of the BRASH Sports Podcast, brought to you by Anonymous Sources. If your career in journalism isn't taking off like you thought, or you're deep in your career and want to spark the next chapter, consider citing Anonymous Sources next time you have a hot story to drop. Integrity in the media, sports or otherwise, has eroded into a shred of what it once was, so it's never been easier to get your phony stories out to the public. Not a journalist? Try using Anonymous Sources in your personal life. Break up with your girlfriend because one of your friends saw her out with another dude. An anonymous source caught your boss skimming off the top. Time to get that raise. You can even blackmail your local politician. Chances are they're doing some shady shit anyways. And when you do, be sure to use promo code BRASH1 to save 47%. Anonymous sources. If they can't disprove it, it must be true. Brandon, what's going on, man? We never use anonymous sources here at Brash. All of our sources... Really, it's just me and you, so we stand by what we say. We don't need to outsource it, right?
We are the sources of Brash
We
Sports,
are the sources.
But it's Anonymous Sources that is bringing episode 11 of season 2 to our viewers and our listeners. So
God bless them.
Thank you. Thank you, Anonymous Sources.
Yeah, we got a lot to get into, man. You want to jump right into headlines?
We got a couple headlines to go through.
Yeah.
The biggest one being... In the sports world, we're not big baseball guys, as everybody knows, but we'd be remiss if we did not mention the World Series that is beginning tonight. And it is so funny, man, because not being a big baseball guy, really just limited to the Nationals when they're good, two of the teams I despise the most in the MLB are headlining the World Series, of course.
Yep.
So there's not even really a squad I can root for. Because I hate the Houston assholes or the Houston asterisks or whatever. And come on, the Phillies, I mean, you know, Philadelphia fans, they get the Eagles, and now they got the Phillies in the World Series. I mean, they must be on cloud 9 up north right now.
Yeah, I'm with you. I do give an edge to the Phillies because the Astros cheated. And, like, cheating is really bad in any major sport. And I know I've come out on record saying I'm pro-steroid, but to me that's different. Like, signal stealing and all that shit, not cool. So, you know, if I had to give an edge, I'd root for the Phillies. But what I'm going to do instead is just ignore the entire thing and not pay any attention to it, per usual. Just the standard quo throughout the season. I've been ignoring it. So now it's just like, what's one more series to ignore? So yeah, you won't get a ton of coverage out of me for the World Series. But I would say if I had to pick a team, I'd probably go Phillies over Astros.
Again, I don't care.
No, neither do I.
I could never support a Philadelphia team, and I could definitely never support the cheaters. So
right.
I can, however, make a prediction, and I'm going to predict the Houston Astros. I'll say Houston in 6. Give Philly some respect.
I could see Houston in 5. Like, I think they're a lot better.
I almost said that, but then I changed.
They've just been blowing people out. So I don't. Their pitching's great. Their hitting's great. All that stuff. So I think the Astros kind of mop the floor with them. But at the end of the day, I just don't give a shit. It'll come and go, and I won't even know it.
The only way you could get me to watch one of these games is if it goes to Game 7. I'll tune in for that. I love a good Game 7. Yeah. It doesn't matter who's playing. Hockey and baseball for the title. Game 7, you got to tune in.
Game 7s are phenomenal. You're right about that. If it's a Game 7, I'll tune in. Also, if I've got a wild hair and I feel like betting it, I'll watch it if I'm betting it. But there's so much. There's NBA, there's NHL, there's so much other stuff to bet right now. I don't need baseball like I did over the summer, so I'm just probably not going to pay attention at all. But I did see something cool that for Philly fans, like you had talked about, like every day that there's not an Eagles game for the next week, there's a World Series game where their team is in it. So they have like tonight through next Tuesday, I think, because the Eagles play Thursday and Sunday. Like they have, every single night they have a huge game. So Philly's on top of the world right now.
Yeah, those bastards. Well, one of the few times Brash Sports will kick things off talking about baseball. Yeah, you mentioned the Eagles playing on Thursday.
No. I messed that up.
It's okay. But let's move over to our second headline, which is NFL related, where things should be, and it is the Indianapolis Colts benching Matt Ryan. This was a stunner to me. You said you're not too surprised, or weren't too surprised when this news broke earlier, but it's second-year quarterback Sam Ehlinger that's going to make his first start on Sunday against your boys. So that should be interesting. I'm sure the Commanders' defensive line is just licking their chops, getting ready for that one. But I kind of feel for Matt Ryan. He's being made up as the scapegoat in this case, don't you think?
Yeah, it's certainly not all his fault why their record is what it is. But at the end of the day, like, they are a team that's really been focused on winning. They've tried the old washed up quarterback route with Phillip Rivers, with your guy, and now fucking Matt Ryan, and it's just not working. So they're trying something different. I wasn't shocked when I saw the news, but yeah, I am with you. I think they're going to find out quickly that it's not Matt Ryan's fault that they keep losing. So we'll see how it turns out. I mean, new quarterback magic has been a thing. So like they probably saw Bailey Zappi come in and light the world on fire and wanted some of that.
Typically, if you're an NFL team that makes such a big move and to get behind Ehlinger like they did and say that we're going to stick with this guy for the rest of the season. Again, he's a young guy. I guess you kind of have to say that. But it's surprising because they've won, I'm looking at it now, 3 of their last 5 games. And those are all against AFC opponents. One of them was the Kansas City Chiefs. Typically, when you see this kind of move, it's because you got nothing to lose, right? Let's see what the young kid has. Why not? The season's over anyway. And they're in that division where they could still win the division.
Oh, so easily.
It's just a bit premature. And Matt Ryan currently sits as the number 4 passer in passing yards this season. So I don't know. Weird, but whatever. Maybe there's other stuff going on that we just don't see and don't know about.
I was going to say there could be so much going on behind the scenes, things that are happening at practice or wherever, like front office things, who knows, that could be affecting it as well.
And our third and final headline, this one's a bummer, man. Breece Hall, he suffered that season-ending injury on Sunday, a torn ACL in the first quarter. That was right after or shortly after his 62-yard run, amazing run for a touchdown. And quickly after the news broke that he would be out for the year, the Jets make a move and trade for Jacksonville running back James Robinson. So good for them to try to plug somebody into that spot. Obviously not going to be Breece Hall, but still, they're trying to complement it as best they can to give themselves an opportunity to make the playoffs. And I don't think that's a bad get for them.
Not at all. James Robinson has shown that he can be very good. Breece Hall, obviously, you miss a spark from just the youth of him, but James Robinson's still a great running back. And yeah, it sucks that Breece Hall went down the injury route, and the Jets are, taking a little step back here after an amazing start to the season. But we'll see. I don't think that it's enough of a. I'm not writing them off because of this, right? Like, I still think that they're going to be contenders in the AFC. So we'll see how it works with James Robinson. I think it'll be fine. Running backs, you can just plug and play. It's not like a quarterback where you have to learn a whole new system and all these new plays and shit. I think James Robinson will be fine.
We shall see. And for the Jets' sake, I do hope that it doesn't have that much of a negative impact on them moving forward, because I'm kind of liking watching them win. I think it's cool.
Dude, I agree. Exciting. I think it's really cool, really exciting. British Mike's loving it. And for Breece Hall, I hope he just has a speedy recovery, because he's obviously a really, really good running back, right? So I hope they get him back early-ish next season.
And yeah, exactly. You don't want this to have a lasting impact on his entire career.
Right.
That would be such a bummer, man.
Such a bummer.
And it would be all my fault for having him on both my fantasy teams. It's my fault.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. You jinxed the shit out of him.
Damn it. All right. Well, so those are our headlines. We do have the NBA season going on right now, Josh. We're about what now? Week and a half?
About a week.
Yeah.
Teams have played 3 or 4 games on average.
I haven't been following as closely, of course, as you have, but I have been following my Wizards, who are currently 3-1, second in the East. They started out hot last year too. They were like 8-1 after their first 9, and everyone was going crazy. So I'm gonna keep expectations where they were, which are very low.
Yeah.
Understanding it's a very long season, but you can't help but get excited after each win. So I'm sure you got a couple things you'd just like to get off your chest. Should we go to just Joshin so you'd have an opportunity?
I think we should just do just Joshin.
All right. Well, let's get to it. Let's go to Just Joshin. Just Joshin. Brought to you by the snooze button. 15 more minutes of sleep. Yeah, that ought to do it. The snooze button.
All right. Well, yeah, I mean, I feel like we'd be remiss if we didn't do a little NBA talk. About a week in, you can finally start to see kind of how the season's going to go. I'm not going to spend too much time here because the NFL is still going to reign supreme, and we'll have plenty of time after the Super Bowl to talk about NBA. But just to kind of lay everything out there, I think there's some main storylines that we can talk about, like the Lakers and the Knicks, how they still fucking suck. I said it all last year. I said it coming into this year. They're still going to suck. I think parity is going to reign supreme this year. I think that there really isn't any team that can't beat another team week in, week out. It's very similar to the NFL. What makes the NFL so exciting is that you never really know what to expect. And there was a lot of talk about teams tanking for Wembanyama and Scoot Henderson, and these guys coming into the draft. Teams are going to want to tank to get them. I haven't seen it so far. I don't think they are. So I really think every team's trying hard, and I think that aside from a handful of teams that are just a step up, teams are very competitive this year, and it makes for a really, really great watch. So in the East, I have only 2 contenders right now that I think have a chance of going all the way to the finals. Those 2 teams, not surprisingly, are the Celtics and the Bucks. My tier 2 teams are the teams that could surprise and elevate a little bit and get on that level. Those are the 76ers and the Heat. The Heat a little more than 76ers. 76ers make me nervous. My tier 3 teams, these are playoff teams that are dangerous. So they're not as well established as the first 4 teams I named, but you're not going to want to play them in the playoffs. We've got the Bulls, we've got the Cavs, who I think are going to be the Celtics of last year, this year. The Hawks are super dangerous. And then I do have the Nets in the playoffs as a dangerous team because you do have Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving still. And Ben Simmons, he'll probably not make it through the season, and they'll get better. My tier 4 teams these are teams you don't want to play, but also you do want to play. And those are the Wizards and the Hornets. Because on any given night, they could blow you out of the water, and on any given night, you could beat the shit out of them with ease. So I know we haven't seen it yet from either of these teams. They're both playing really tough right now, but as the season goes along, they'll show their true colors. And then tier 5 is just everyone else, bunch of losers. Now in the West, it's way more interesting, way more unpredictable. I was putting these tiers together, and I really was struggling a bit. So my tier 1 teams are the Suns, the Warriors, and the Clippers. I think the Clippers are going to surprise some people with how good they are and how competitive. I think they're the deepest team. 1 through 12, there's not a better roster out there. And if Kawhi can stay healthy and Paul George can play as good as Paul George can play, then they can beat anybody. My tier 2 teams are the Mavericks, the Grizzlies, the Pelicans, and the Timberwolves. The Pelicans are going to be the Celtics of last year, but in the West. They are phenomenal. I love this team. I think that they could really shake things up and beat any of those top teams in the playoffs over 7 games. Tier 3, we have the Nuggets and Trailblazers. The only reason they're Tier 3 is because they have Jokic and Damian Lillard. The rest of their teams are suspect. If by and large, they're going to lose a lot of games. The Trailblazers have started out 4-0, however, so I could be wrong on them. Tier 4, you've got the Thunder and Rockets. You don't want to play those teams, but most nights you do. They're just young and springy, easy to beat, but easy to lose to. Then Tier 5, you have everybody else, bunch of losers. And then Tier 6, you have the Lakers, who are the worst team in the NBA. They're awful. They need to figure out what they're going to do with Westbrook. They need shooters. It's so weird the way that they've built this team. It's completely backwards. It doesn't work. They need to blow the whole thing up. At this point, they might be the only team tanking for Wembanyama. That's the only thing I can figure out right now. So we'll see how they play tonight without Westbrook. He's sitting because he has like a hip injury or something. So if they play a lot better without Westbrook, then clearly it'll be on him, but I don't think it's Westbrook's fault. I think they just designed a team really poorly, and they have no shooters. So anyway, those are my tiers for the East and West. Again, sneaky teams to be out on the look for. And if you're betting, maybe lay some season overs or in the playoffs, like to make the playoffs, whatever. Cavaliers, I absolutely love this year. Pelicans, I absolutely love this year. So there it is.
All right. Nice. I like it.
I'm out of breath.
Yeah, I bet, dude. Good job.
Sweating, man. I need it.
Pretty much covered the NBA, so we don't have to touch on it for the remainder of the season. It sounds like you got it covered.
We can wait till February to talk about it again.
There you go.
So
yeah.
We're good. Yeah, just NFL from now on.
Well done.
We can get Daniel in for college football and hockey still, but no, NBA, unless I'm 100% right about this moving forward, and then I will continue to bring it up occasionally just to boost my own ego. But chances are I'm way off on all this stuff, and I'll want to bury it anyway. So,
real quick, any chance we see LeBron get dealt mid-season if the Lakers are just complete trash?
Not LeBron. No.
Okay.
He's gonna stay in LA. They're gonna try and get rid of Westbrook, but no teams are gonna fight for him. If it were me, I would put Westbrook on the bench and have him come off as a sixth-man role. I don't know why they haven't done that yet. He has all the things that you would want in a six-man, just like hyper-athletic, hyper-competitive, needs the ball. So you can just send him out there and be like, dude, go get rebounds, go drive to the rim. But when he's in the full game, you have him at the point. LeBron is a much better point guard, even though he's not a point guard, than Russ. Russ needs the ball. LeBron needs to have the ball for them to win. It just doesn't work. So I don't think, LeBron is staying. They're going to try and deal Westbrook, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think they're just going to suck all year and miss the playoffs again.
Well, if they're tanking for the top prospect, then good for them.
I guess so. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of right now of why they're so bad and why they haven't made any adjustments. And this poor coach, Darvin Ham, who's first year with this team, is just like dealt the worst possible hand because he has all these egos of these superstars on such a bad team. And he has to deal with it. First year coach. It just doesn't, none of it makes sense. None of it. So they're the only tier 6 team in the league, the Los Angeles Lakers.
Certainly not winning time in LA this
No,
season.
it is not. It is not.
All right, well, we had another exciting weekend of NFL football. You and I went into this weekend picking every game exactly the same down the line. First and last time that will ever happen. It's amazing.
Got to be, right?
It'll never happen again. Overall, picks were pretty good, so
yeah.
Let's get right into it. We'll start off with the Cincinnati Bengals, who got their victory over the Atlanta Falcons 35-17, and it was Joe Burrow doing it again. He is on fire right now. He finished with 34 out of 42, 481 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Unbelievable.
And a rushing touchdown.
I didn't even plug that in. He had a rushing touchdown also. I mean, the man is just, he's a freak. He's a freak. Yeah. Love Joe Burrow. Love watching him play. And 2 of his receivers, Tyler Boyd and Jamar Chase. You expect it from Jamar Chase these days, but it was surprising to see also Tyler Boyd get 8 receptions and finish with over 100 yards. So I scooped him up off waivers because why the hell not? When Burrow's on fire, he's going to spread the ball around, right? And now at 4-3, the Bengals, they've won 4 of their last 5. They are looking like they could take control of that division, the AFC North. What do you think about that?
I think it's making my preseason prediction of them missing the playoffs look really bad right now. And the big story of this game to me was their defense, man. I thought their defense did incredibly well and has been playing well all year. I can't name a single player on their defense. They don't have any superstars, but they are getting it done. They must have great schemes, or they're underrated in a lot of ways. So, dude, they're just a dangerous team. I've had them all wrong.
Oh, you're right. I failed to mention that their defense actually shut out the Falcons in the second half. So, The Dallas Cowboys, they got the victory at home against the Detroit Lions. This is one you and I both felt like it was going to be the Lions' day and not Prescott's day, but the Lions beat themselves. Let's just call it for what it is. It was a boring game all first half. It was a boring game throughout, but at halftime, the Lions led 6-3, and then they just get completely blanked in the second half and gave up 21 points. Jared Goff, he threw 2 interceptions. He lost 2 fumbles. It was just an ugly day for the Lions. They looked like the Lions that we all know and love. And Dallas now sitting at 5-2. Detroit has lost 4 in a row. So
yeah,
goodbye Lions.
Yeah,
goodbye Lions. Officially, are we adding them to the Brash blacklist?
They are the first team added to the Brash blacklist. I'm not picking them again. They need to figure out their offensive line. They need to because Jared Goff takes forever to get rid of the ball. So he needs all types of time. Anytime you get a pass rush on him, he makes mistakes. So I'm done with them. They suck. I think they're going to go through a lot of changes in the offseason, and they're going to finish as a bottom 5 team.
Congratulations, Detroit. You just made the list. Let's go to the Tennessee Titans getting the victory over the Indianapolis Colts. Matt Ryan's probably is the last start of his career for all we know.
Could be.
The Titans got the win 19-10. It was Derrick Henry's show, even though they kept him out of the end zone. He finished the day with 30 carries, 128 yards. The Titans' only TD actually came off of an Andrew Adams pick 6 in the second quarter. And now the Titans are on a 4-game tear, 4-2 overall, and Indy are just left searching for answers. It's one of the reasons they're throwing in Ellinger, just hoping for a miracle, you know?
Yeah, you just got to throw shit at the wall and see what sticks sometimes. This game upset me because I had a 4-way anytime touchdown scoring parlay with Joe Mixon, Jamar Chase, Austin Eckler, and Derrick Henry, and he did not get a touchdown even after having a monster game, so I missed that bet, and I'm still bitter about it, as you can tell. But no, I didn't see much of this game because I was watching Red Zone channel, and no one was ever in the red zone. It was just like, I don't know, they were just in the middle of the field the whole game. So I don't know what to make of these two teams. I think that whole division is trash, and whoever makes it out of there is going to lose in the first round of the playoffs. So I don't really know or care about this game too much.
Let's move right along. I cared a lot about this one. The Washington Commanders got the win over the Green Bay Packers. In Landover, it was 23-21 final, but, you know, if you saw the game, it was Redskins all day, and it was the Skins D that held the Pack to a total of 232 yards. Packers could just never get anything going on the offensive side. Their only, I suppose, minor spark was the presence of Aaron Jones. He had some significant plays and a beautiful catch in the end zone from a, you know, everyone's like, oh, what a great pass from Rodgers. No, it was a great catch. It was not a great pass. Not a lot of running backs could make that reception. Taylor Heineke has to be the man of the match, even though T-Money, Scary Terry, he had a lot of clutch receptions, but Heineke finished with 20 completions from 33 attempts, 201 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 pick. That pick did lead to a touchdown. It was a pick 6. It was ugly. Looked like the game was already slipping away early, but he was able to gather himself, and all of a sudden looked like the game slowed down for him, and he was making reads, and he knew when to scramble, and it was a thing of beauty watching him navigate his way through this game. And I mentioned Terry. He finished with 5 catches for 73 yards and a score, and he made that clutch reception for the first down with 2 minutes remaining, right at the 2-minute warning, so at the end of the game. So even though the Pack did get the ball back and they gave us, they made my heart stop for a little bit with that crazy lateral play they had at the end. It wasn't meant to be. It was the Redskins / Commanders / Washington football team's day. They get the dub, back-to-back wins. Way to go, Redskins.
Yeah, I mean, phenomenal win. Again, I'm so down on the Packers this year. I was so close, and I mentioned it on the last podcast, so close to picking Washington for this game because Green Bay just doesn't have it. And Aaron Rodgers, again, is not the guy that's going to fucking lead you out of adversity. He's a hindrance in the face of adversity. He only gets worse. Now, when they jumped out to a 14-0 or 14-3 lead, I was like, okay, well, this is actually when Rodgers plays the best with a lead, right? But Washington, the defense, just kind of made him guess. His receivers, again, dropping passes. They're all bad. That's why he's throwing touchdowns to Aaron Jones, because he has no receivers. Yeah, great win for Washington. Great win for the brand. The NFC East is the best division in football, and it's not even close, and it's hilarious. I love it. I'm here for it.
Hopefully, Commanders can get to 500 this upcoming weekend. I think it's a real possibility.
I do too.
Spoiler alert. The Carolina Panthers, they get the shocker of the week, beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 21-3. I suppose after last weekend, it's no longer considered a shocker for shitty teams to beat the Bucs. That's back-to-back losses for them to sub-500 squads. But again, that Shocker of the Week award goes to the Carolina Panthers. Way to go. Tom Brady, he's only thrown 2 touchdowns in his last 3 games. And P.J. Walker, on the other hand, great showing for him, all things considered. Bucs D is pretty decent, and their secondary is respectable. And P.J. finished with 16 of 22, 177 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no picks, no fumbles. He was not losing the game, and that's all he really had to do. Lions, they made the list. The Buccaneers, welcome to the Brash Blacklist. You made the list.
Absolutely. If you cannot beat the Carolina Panthers after they deal their best player and have their third string XFL quarterback play, there's just no excuses for it. Again, the story of this one, the defense, yet again. Dude, Carolina's defense at home is really good. And PJ Walker, again, you're kind of like we talked about earlier with Sam Ehlinger. Sometimes you just have to get a fresh guy in the mix, and they just come in and they've got the world to prove. And he just fucking played lights out. He was making so many good throws. DJ Moore finally looks like a credible wide receiver again. So I don't know if it's their guy. Apparently, Darnold and Baker are both healthy this week, and they haven't announced who's going to start from what I've seen. So I hope they just stick with PJ Walker and tell Baker to go fuck off. But we'll see. But yeah, Bucks, you're banned. We're never betting on you again. Yeah, eat shit and die. After what you did to our parlay.
I picked them as my favorite, my surefire favorite, and that's how that goes.
If you didn't, I would have.
And it's over. It's over. The Bucks will never make our weekend parlay ever again.
Never again.
Unless they're on the losing end. The New York Giants keep the train rolling. They beat the Jacksonville Jaguars 23-17. Giants D, man, they made that amazing stop. Christian Kirk, he tried to win the game for the Jags. It wasn't meant to be. He was stopped at the 1 yard line on that final play. And Saquon was Saquon, 24 carries, 110 yards. Now at 6-1, the Giants have won their last 4. Red hot, looking good. And their next 3 games are very much winnable. They're out of the 3, their next opponents, of course, their toughest.
Yeah.
But as a Giants fan, you gotta like your odds of getting to what?
8-2.
8-2. Yeah, 8-2 is solid. I mean,
Yeah, it's.
I'd kill for 8-2. Literally, I would murder somebody for 8-2.
We've barely had 8 wins over the last 3 seasons combined. So yeah, 8-2 would be incredible. Yeah, the story of this game, obviously Saquon and the defense, but the thing that we were missing the last few years was an identity. You didn't know who the Giants were, what we were trying to do. This year, we're going to run it up the gut with Saquon and Daniel Jones, a.k.a. Danny Dimes, a.k.a. Danny Wheels, and we're going to make you stop that first, and it's going to be hard to. The next thing we're going to do is put a lot of pressure on your quarterback. It's very reminiscent of 2007, 2011, the years that we went on runs. We had amazing running game, amazing pass rush. Go figure. It's our identity this year, and it's working out well because we have the best running back in the NFL. So we just got to keep it up, keep it going, and I don't know. I'm feeling more confident every week because I'm that fan that's like, oh, this is the week where we finally show up. The Giants of old. We're gonna go to Jacksonville and lose. Nope.
This is who the Giants are now. You just have to accept it.
Right.
Okay?
We have an identity.
Team.
It's weird because no one has lost more games than us over the past 5 or 6 years. So it's weird seeing a team that has an identity that you can rely on and go, oh, okay, good. It's 3rd and 2. I think I know what we're going to do. Versus back in the day, go, well, let's just hope Daniel Jones doesn't fumble it again because, he's doing a 7-step drop when he never should be in that position, whatever. So I'm loving it. I don't know what else to say. I'm trying not to rub it in, but it's a great feeling.
No, man. No, there's nothing to rub in. I mean, it is what it is. Facts are facts. And you got to enjoy every single win because you never know. You never know.
You never know.
The Baltimore Ravens, they did know. They got the win over the Cleveland Browns, 23-20. This one, Ravens looked like they were going to let yet another one slip away where they had the lead and it was falling apart at the seams. Browns made things interesting, but the Ravens were able to hold on, get the win, and I have to mention Gus Edwards, not just because I picked him up off waivers, but because he had a surprisingly productive day, 16 carries, 66 yards, but 2 scores. He's their guy in the red zone, and I was reading an article earlier today that said he actually is coming back from a big injury.
Yep.
I was completely unaware of. Shame on me for not keeping up on old Gus Edwards.
Well, everybody was hurt for the Ravens last year. Actually, they're one of the most injured teams this year again, too. So they just can't escape that injury bug. But no, Gus Edwards was really good. He's Gus the Bus, man. He's hard to bring down.
So the Ravens are tied with Cincinnati atop the AFC North. The Browns now on a 4-game slump. It's over for the Cleveland Browns. They are fighters. They do give it their all every week.
Every week.
They're not giving up. Nick Chubb is still a monster.
A monster.
And still fun to watch. But, yeah, speaking of which, I just wanted to bring this up. What's the deal with Deshaun? Is he coming back? Is that not going to happen now? Did I miss something? I thought, wasn't it a 6-game suspension?
No, it was an 11-game suspension.
Oh, was it originally 6 and they bumped it to 11?
Originally it was 6 and everyone was like, come on.
Okay, all right.
that's kind of outrageous. Then it got bumped up to 11. So he's suspended for 11 games and then they have a bye week and then they come back and he faces the Houston Texans for his first game back. So the NFL definitely planned it that way to make the most money. So
okay. Yeah, they basically just took the number of women that accused him of sexual harassment, divided it by 2, and then said, that's it. That's how many games.
That's the one. Yeah.
That's the equation in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. Half a game per woman.
It's all math. It's math. It's numbers. The New York Jets, we mentioned them before, they did get the win over the lowly, sad, sorry Denver Broncos. 16-9 was your final there. Jets able to hang on even after that injury to Hall in the first quarter, which was a huge bummer. But Breece Hall, he still led all players in rushing with only 4 carries. He finished with 72 yards and that score. And Nathaniel Hackett's seat, it's so hot, it's melting underneath him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just heard stories or reports today. Anonymous sources have leaked this. If they don't win on Sunday morning out in London, there's a very good chance that he gets fired. So it's, I've been saying it all year, though. I think he is the main source of their issues. It's not Russell Wilson. It's Hackett. He's a terrible head coach. I know it's his first year. You got to give him a little slack, but it's been so bad, and their team is so talented. You got to just pull the plug at some point if it's not working, because there's no reason it shouldn't be working.
I absolutely think if they lose on Sunday, he's getting the boot on Monday.
Yeah. But
I will save my prediction for next episode, because that's when we're making our picks. So no spoilers on that aspect. Let's go to the Vegas Raiders, who got the comfortable win over the Houston Texans. Looks like it was going to be a close game at first, because it was tied 10-10 going into the locker room at halftime. But the Raiders, they just turned it on into another gear in the second half. They exploded for 28 points. And Josh fucking Jacobs, man, keep an eye on this motherfucker. 20 carries, 143 yards, 3 scores. And Derek Carr, he finished with a QBR of 84.5, which is not bad. 21 of 27, 241 yards, and 1 touchdown. He didn't have to be amazing. He just had to not fuck up and hand the ball off to Jacobs. That's the recipe.
Yeah, easy to do when you're playing the Texans, for sure. Their run defense is horrendous, but I don't know, man. I feel really bad for the Raiders. I had a lot higher hopes for them so far this year. Hopefully they can turn it around, use this to get a little momentum moving forward, and I'd love to see them in the playoffs, so hopefully they can keep it up.
It is very surprising they have less wins than the Redskins.
Yeah.
Wouldn't
really
have
surprising.
That.
Really surprising.
Wouldn't have predicted that. Seattle Seahawks, they pull the upset against the Chargers. They win 37-23. Don't look now, but the Hawks are legit. They're just fun to watch. And Kenneth Walker III, man, back-to-back spectacular outings. He finished with 23 carries, 167 yards, 2 scores. Kenneth Walker III, where the fuck did he come from? Both teams currently sitting at 4-3.
Yeah, Seattle, very good team. I never in a million years saw that one coming. I thought they would finish bottom maybe 3. Like, it's, to me, coming in the league, or coming into the year, it was them, it was the Texans, and it was the Browns. Or no, the Bears, as like the worst 3 teams in the league. Seattle is looking like one of the better teams in the NFC. Geno Smith is playing out of his mind right now. I can't figure it out, but I'm definitely not picking against them anytime soon.
You gotta hand it to Pete Carroll and co. That coaching staff, they're turning shit into gold over there in Seattle. Good for them, man.
They knew something, man. They let Russ go and didn't make a play for anybody. And
I knew that was a good move. I said that. I was the only one that said this Russell Wilson to Denver thing is overhyped. Wait until you see him with the Broncos. And that's, again, the one prediction I got right so far.
Yeah, and I was way off on that. We'll see. It could be a Hackett issue. If Hackett gets the hatchet, Russ might cook
he's getting
again.
that hatchet.
I don't know. He's getting the hatchet, the Hackett hatchet.
He's getting chopped. Even if it doesn't happen, it's his next loss. He's getting chopped.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what's going to happen. The Chiefs, they get the win over the 49ers, 44-23. Outscored San Fran 30-10 in the second half. Mahomes was Mahomes. Yet again, 25 of 34, 423 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 little pick. And Juju, man. Juju Smith-Schuster. Talk about getting somebody off waivers. I saw him last week. I didn't scoop him up. Should have put him on my team. 7 receptions, 124 yards, 1 touchdown. Good for him finally making his presence felt for the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think it took a little while, but he's really finding a groove and kind of being that number 1 wide receiver for Mahomes to target. Because early on in the season, he was just going anywhere that someone was open. I think Juju has really proved himself as the best receiver on the team. And yeah, aside from Kelsey, like, he's their number 1 target for Mahomes. And Mahomes is just unbelievable. I think the more I watch him play, the more I think, like, he might be the best quarterback I've ever seen, which is crazy to say this early in a career, but I mean, he's just unbelievable, the things he does with the football, and it's so fun to watch. So, yeah, the hot take, Pat Mahomes is very good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you heard it here first.
Bold take.
Yeah.
We'll see what kind of career the kid has, okay?
Yeah,
Let's see how this whole Mahomes thing plays out.
Might be a little early. Might be a little early, but I'm just going to go out on a limb and just say I think he's really good.
He might win another Lombardi trophy. We'll see. The Miami Dolphins, they get the victory over the Steelers 16-10. This one was a meh type game. It was a defensive battle in Miami on Sunday night. No points were scored at all in the second half. And Kenny Pickett, Steelers fans, Pittsburgh Eric, especially upset with him. He threw 3 costly interceptions, and one of those at the tail end of the game, which sealed the victory for the Dolphins. Tua, I felt, looked pretty sharp in his return from his concussion. 21 of 35, 261 yards, and a touchdown. No interceptions, and he added 15 yards rushing. So,
he had that one rush where he dove head first to get more yards, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, don't do that!"
I think he was doing that on purpose just to show people that he's not scared. He ain't scared.
No, he ain't scared.
He ain't scared.
No, very good. Miami. I think Miami's back with Tua. They're legit. I was wrong on Tua as well. Tua's a very good quarterback. I didn't think that Tyreek Hill would have as much of an impression on this team as he has, and he's showing that he's just a game changer no matter where he goes and who his quarterback is. And Tua is very good. Miami Dolphins are very good. They're going to be a tough out in the playoffs.
Defense really carried them for that one overall. Let's
For sure.
Call it for what it is. Speaking of defense, Monday Night Football, we had the New England Patriots all day in this one. No chance in hell the Bears go to Foxborough and get the win, but boy, did the Bears show up on Monday night in Foxborough. 33-14 was your final here, and the Bears defense shut out the Pats in the second half. Saw a lot of that in this past weekend.
Yeah.
Teams getting just blanked in the second, and Justin Fields, he led all players in rushing yards with 14 carries, 82 yards, and a score, 2 total touchdowns on the day. So, hey, way to go, Cleveland. Way to go, Cleveland. I just wanted to say that.
I fucked those 2 up earlier, too. That's so weird.
But really, way to go, Chicago, for getting the win. You're the ones that really deserve the credit. Yeah. And, I guess I even failed to mention that Mac Jones, he got benched, and they tried to get the Zappy magic going mid-game. Sorry, Belichick, you fucked up. You shouldn't have started Mac Jones to begin with. You should have just rolled with the Zappy magic, and he didn't. So, Bailey wasn't able to do it himself. Apparently, Pats are leaning towards going back to Mac Jones. I could understand they're heavily invested in him as that number 1 overall pick, but it'll be interesting to see how that plays out for the remainder of the year.
Yeah, I don't know how that situation's going to play out. Watching that game, there was a noticeable difference in the way the team was playing when Bailey Zappi took the field to finish out the first half, at least. Second half, I can't explain. It is so rare for young quarterbacks to go into Foxborough and beat Bill Belichick. This game was such an anomaly. You had the Panthers game as the shocker of the week. This is easily number 2 in my mind of a total shocker.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't see it coming. I was just blown away. And Justin Fields is making smart throws, accurate throws. I don't know. I don't know what to make of this game because it was so chaotic and crazy with the Mac Jones benching, and Bailey Zappi to me should be the guy. But the defense, how does New England give up 33 points to the Bears at home? I can't figure it out. No idea how it happened. I watched the entire game, every snap, and I still don't know how it happened. So just one of those things. NFL, man, it's fucking wild and so unpredictable. So I'm just going to chalk it up to that. Just one of those weird things.
Way to go,
Bears. Costs me a lot of money when I gamble.
Yeah, I got no ill will towards Chicago Bears.
Oh, I don't either.
Or Cleveland, for that matter. But mainly on the topic, the Chicago Bears, and I like seeing the Bears win, and I'd like to see Justin Fields succeed. So, and I like seeing the Pats lose. I'm sorry, they had their fun. They had their two decades of destruction, and now it's time for them to get buried. All right.
Yeah, I'm with you. I love seeing the Pats lose. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it sucks when I have money on them, but emotional hedge, yeah, I love seeing them lose. Got nothing against Chicago. Justin Fields might be the only decent Ohio State quarterback that I've ever seen. So, yeah, good on him. And
I guess that pretty much
that does it.
Ties a bow on our recap of Week 7. We do have a game coming up tomorrow night. Spoiler, we are recording on a Wednesday evening.
Damn right.
Thursday night football. Baltimore Ravens headed to Tampa to take on the questionable Buccaneers. What to make of this team? What is going on with the Bucs? It's easy just to look at this one and say right away, no chance in hell the Bucs get the win. But the Ravens are iffy too, and
super iffy.
They could have a 21-point lead and find a way to fuck it all up. So this is an opportunity, I think, for a bounce-back game for Brady. And let's just break it down real quick. I mean, I like doing the yards for, yards against, points for, points against. And I thought it was interesting how the yards against for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 308.3 is 7th in the NFL. So that their defense is not that bad. And the points against is 17.7, which is the 5th best. So, I mean, you got to keep an eye on their defense. If Lamar Jackson can't do what he normally does and control the entire field, then the Ravens might be in trouble. Their strength is scoring points, though. They average 25.9 per game, which is 6th best in the NFL. And the Bucs, they don't put up a lot of points. They are 26th in the NFL with 17.7. So it's, it really is kind of a coin toss, even though your gut instinct would tell you to go with the Ravens in this one, especially because they're coming off of a high and the Bucs are coming out of that hole that they've dug for themselves, losing to the Steelers and the Panthers back-to-back. Tampa at home, where are you leaning on this one?
I'm leaning Ravens, but I don't love it. I'm staying away from this game betting-wise because both of these teams, well, one of them's BRASH listed. The other one is very close because you bet on them and they look great at halftime. You're leading, you're celebrating, you're popping champagne bottles because you're about to hit your bet, and then they blow it in the second half consistently. Gun to my head, I'm taking the Ravens because I think they're a more well-rounded team, and I think that the biggest weakness for Tampa Bay is their rushing defense, whereas the weakness for the Ravens is in their secondary. And you're basically saying, all right, Tom, you're going to have to beat us, and they can still get a pass rush on you, and that's the number one way to disrupt Tom Brady is to, get in his face. So I think Ravens win, but it's a really close game. And I think it's a low-scoring game, too. I would say like a 20-17 type game. Ravens win, but barely. And if the Bucs win, I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna go with the Ravens. I just think momentum is real in all sports, and especially the NFL. The Bucs have a lot of soul searching to do, and they're not going to have all the answers with such a quick turnaround against a well-coached Baltimore Ravens team. I like to always do it this way. When you look at the records, okay, Ravens are at 4-3, and the Bucs are at 3-4. You can ask yourself, do the Ravens look more like a 4-4 team or a 5-3 team? And do the Bucs look more like a 3-5 team or a 4-4 team? I'd have to say at the moment, the Bucs definitely look more like a 3-5 team.
Yeah.
Losing to the Steelers and the Panthers. So,
yeah,
for that reason, and that reason alone, I am going with the Baltimore Ravens going to Tampa and getting the win on Thursday night in a quick turnaround.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, I could see this going either. I don't think if we come in and record on Friday night, Saturday morning, whenever, and
if the Bucs win, it's not a stunner. It's not a stunner.
Not.
And by the way,
in the least,
you mentioned the BRASH list. Just because a team is on the list, such as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that doesn't mean we're not allowed to pick them in our pick'ems. We can pick them all day long.
Of course.
Yeah, we're just not. In any way, implementing them into our weekend parlay.
No chance.
Let's just figure that out.
I'm staying away from both of these teams gambling, but especially the Bucs after what they did to us this week. So,
all right. So what was your score one more time?
20-17.
20-17. I really like that. I will have to. Oof. Wow. You know what? I'm gonna go with less points than that. I think it's going to be a pretty boring one. I'll say 17-13.
Okay. All right.
And
I like it.
Yep. And
bet the under. Bet the under. There you go.
It's going to be a slow moving game. Of course, now it's going to be 35 to 42.
Right. It's another shootout.
Yeah. Unbelievable. The best Thursday night game we've ever seen.
Yeah, probably. Probably. The way this year has gone, that's probably it, you guys. Bet the over. Bet the Bucks huge. That's it.
That is it, and that is it for episode 11 of season 2. We're gonna get out of here. We're getting
I got shit to do, man.
We're getting the message from Beyond the Glass. It's time to get preparation out of the way for our next episode because we're doing the duel this week. So let's get right to it. Let's get to Thursday night football tomorrow, and I will be speaking with you in the next few days, Josh.
All right, see you, buddy.
All right, my friend. Peace.
Trailers for sale or rent, rooms to let 50 cents. No phone, no pool, no pets. I ain't got no cigarettes, but 2 hours of pushing broom buys an 8 or 12 4-bedroom. I'm a man of means by no means, king of the road. 3rd boxcar, midnight train. Day